Now, moving on to the restraints for the cells while they're in the box, I've decided to go ahead and use some of this half-inch thick cellular vinyl. We use it for interior signage, but you can also get it at your home improvement store as a vinyl trim. It's cellular, so it's got some porosity to it, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't react with much. It doesn't really absorb moisture much at all. And I like it because it's easy to work with. It will take threads, and it's non-conductive. So what I've done is cut it to length, and on this corner here where the weld is at, I've notched out to make clearance for that. So then I have it sitting there and there, giving ample clearance for the terminals, but preventing them from coming out. Now, to hold them in place, I did a simple process of clamping down the material so it wouldn't move anywhere. I notice I'm using metal clamps. I'm not worried because I have absolutely no connections to any of the cells. The only danger is if I cross any given individual cell. Anyway, I set these to where they're pressing flush down against the cells directly. So on this side, it's perfectly flush with the can. This side's a little bit recessed. I'm not going to worry about it. What's more important to me is that it's directly pressed against the cells to hold them firmly in place. I then took a 1/8 inch pilot bit, and I've centered these between every other cell. That way I've got 2 cells for each fastener and on each side, and I've got, of course, 1 block on each end. So in this case I've got 1 fastener, for each cell effectively. But anyway, this provides ample support. I'd imagine if I did a 3rd one in the middle, it'd be a little bit overkill, so I just went every other right there. And I shot through with the 1/8 inch bit through both materials, so that way it is perfectly aligned. I then went through the material with about a 3/16 bit and directly used the bolt, the 1/4 inch bolt, in a drill socket to force threads into the vinyl. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up very well, but I was able to get it to hold threads in this and take quite a bit of force before it would spin them out, but even still it'll hold in place. And with this installation, that shouldn't be a problem because we're not really having a lot of force directed against the threads. They're more of pins holding it in place. So after I forced the threads into the PVC, I of course reamed out my 1/8 inch holes to a full 1/4 inch, and now I can thread my individual bolts into the PVC to secure all the cells. I'm not going to use this one, it's too long. As you can see, it would extend beyond the length of the block. So I'm going to get some 1/2 inch round head bolts that will be a bit smoother on the outside of the box, as well as being recessed, so that we don't have to worry about accidentally touching to the tip of the bolt when I'm hooking up anything inside of the battery box. But that's how I'm doing restraint for the cells individually. I have no conclusion on whether or not this cellular vinyl is ideal. In fact, I was looking for other composite materials, but couldn't find anything that was the appropriate thickness. I found stuff that was effectively a 2x4 or thicker, so it would have been far too close to my terminals for comfort. As you can see, they overhang the end of the cells by a little bit. Not a huge amount, but enough that they're not going to be able to slide up and out of the box.